Hello, I'm Aneta Volcano from anetavolcano.com. I'm a singer, songwriter, musician, music producer as well, and recently I've been into video editing. Today's video will be about how to prepare before you go to a studio. So preparation is the key because you don't want to waste your money and your time. It also depends what you want to do in the studio, whether you want to record a track only, or maybe only the vocals, or maybe everything, whether you want to do it all in one go, or maybe you want to break it down into a couple of sessions. So it really depends on you. First thing that you kind of have to do if you want to cut the costs is to learn to play an instrument. All right, piano is good, guitar is good, anything will do. So let me tell you what I do before I go to a studio. Let's say I've written lyrics and I've written the melody, I've got all the chords, and I know how to play it roughly. I'm not the best pianist in the world. I can go about, and I can make a song work. The first thing that I do is I record the piano, right? So I've got my chords and I've got a basic melody in my head, and I record the piano first on my music software. So once I've got a piano, I can add some drums. I can add some effects if I want to, whatever comes to my mind, whatever I can find on my DAW. So, I basically lay down a basic track. Yeah? And then for that, I record my vocals, which is really also very basic. I don't really put much effort into it. It's not my best recording at all, but I just like to have a guide vocal. Yeah, you need to have a guide vocal, so if you go to a studio, they know more or less where you're going to sing, where the verses are, where the choruses are, and so on. They need to know the general vibe of the song, basically. Before you go to a studio, it's good actually to contact your producer and send him the copy of your backing track, send him the vocals, so that they have the general idea of what's going on. Right? Give your producer as much information as you can about the track you're going to record, right? So what I usually send to my producer before I go to a studio is the backing track, the track with the vocals, the rough vocals, I call it like that. I send him also the stems, so my vocals separately. Stems are basically different files that you send separately. So like, for example, vocals or backing vocals or all instruments separately. So, the producers can put it in the correct place and so on, and they can cut and paste. You have to have it read already in either in MP3, but the best is to have it in WAV. WAV or WAVE, I still don't know how to pronounce it. A lot of people pronounce it differently, so. Producers usually ask for the WAV or WAVE format, and I send him all the MIDI parts of the song. It's easier for them to do something with it. It's very good to actually have a backup. So send it to them via email, but also have it with you on a USB stick or somewhere, because you never know. Take with you any notes that you've made with regards to the song, anything you've got. So take the chords, take the lyrics, obviously, if you're going to sing them, and even if you don't want to sing in them, it's still good to have them ready, to show what the song is about and so on. Have any notes that for example, you've got when you were writing a song, maybe you had some ideas. It's really good to note everything down, because later you will forget. Maybe you had some idea of some guitar intro, or maybe the drums for the bridge, all sorts of stuff. So it's good to have those ready, either in the shape of a note or maybe a recording on your phone. So then you can show your producer, okay, this is what I want, or this is what I want it to sound. And the next thing is make sure that you know what style your song is going to be in, and make sure you know how to sing the song as well. So it's very good to practice beforehand. And so for example, if you're going to record your vocals, it's very good to do your warm-up before you go to a studio. At least half an hour would be good, so you are your vocal cords are warmed up, and you don't sound stiff, basically. Get a bottle of water with you. That's an obvious thing. Okay. Also, when it comes to the vocals, make sure that you don't eat greasy food before recording. Have something light. Just try to avoid dairy. So anything cheesy or milk, try to avoid before, because these are phlegm-inducing types of food. So you don't want to be constantly doing this, And also, when you record, it's a very good idea to just kind of like clear your mouth before you record your vocals. Because what I've noticed sometimes when you drink water, you get that very watery sound coming out, and you can hear, when you listen to the recording, you can hear the saliva. So you want to avoid that. So try to clear your mouth before you start recording. Before you go and record the vocals, it's very good to practice the song at home, so you know exactly how you want to sing it, and you're not wasting time thinking, oh, how should I sing this part, or maybe I should sing it like that, or maybe like that. It's good to have it all in your head before you go to the studio. Make sure you don't forget to take the lyrics with you, because sometimes we think, oh yeah, I remember, but actually, when it comes to singing, you may just very easily forget. So it's good to have that piece of paper there, and as a backup. Right, if you, for example, are going to get your producer to record instruments, it's very good, obviously, to have the chords for them. It's mainly for saving time, because obviously they can figure it out most of the time, but why should they? You just give them the chords and everything is there, written for them, and they don't have to waste time, again, those precious minutes for that. Another thing is, have an example of a song that you have in mind that kind of reminds you of the song you want to do, or the style is similar. So if you've made a song, you have an idea for the style of it, have a look on YouTube for a song that reminds you of the song that you've made. Maybe you want to use similar drums to the ones you've heard in one of the songs on the internet. Or maybe you like the sound of the piano in one of the songs and you want to recreate that feeling in your song. Or maybe you like the sound effects or I don't know, the guitar sound or the guitar solo, and you want to do something similar, obviously not the same, but something similar. It's very good to have an example or a couple of examples of songs for the producer to know more or less what they can do for you if you're going to record instruments. So that's that. When it comes to the vocals, you might also want to consider coming up with some harmonies, beforehand. So do that at home as well. You can record it again on your phone or anywhere. You have them ready, and when you start singing, you know more or less which way to go, whether you want to go higher or lower, and what kind of harmonies you want. A couple of times, I didn't have harmonies ready, and they kind of came up as we were making the track. So sometimes you don't have those ideas, and they just suddenly come up in the middle of the making. But if you have some ideas, the best is to prepare them all in advance. But as I said, sometimes things just pop in your head, and you think, oh, this is a good idea. When you hear a tune, you think, oh, I didn't think of that before, but now I would like to add this or that. So all these ideas change really with time. What I've noticed when I go to a studio is that I get a lot of ideas with time as the song progresses. So, for example, my first studio session is usually making the track, a couple of hours of making the track. Have it ready, I take it with me home, and I basically get used to it, the feel of it, because it's going to be different to the one I recorded at home. But when I get the track, and I get to listen to it, I sing to it, it brings a different feel to the song. And many times I would start singing the song differently because of that different feel. When you have all the instruments together, it's really amazing how the vibe changes. So I like to take it for a week and just basically sing to it and maybe come up with different harmonies. Then suddenly I get loads of different ideas for harmonies. Before, for example, I wouldn't have those ideas, and then I do. And sometimes I come up with lots of different ideas, like in the process of making the song. For example, my producer is playing the guitar, and I'm thinking, oh, this reminds me of something. No, why don't we put this in it, okay? Or why don't we play like that? Or why don't we have these drums or that? And make sure that your song is the correct key. I cannot stress that enough, because I remember once I went to a studio and I started singing the song, and before I even went to the studio, I had the feeling that the song is going to be a little bit too high for me. And it would be uncomfortable for me to sing. And when I started singing it, my voice was not in a good shape. And the song was a little bit too high, and I thought, no, I cannot do it. I just couldn't. And I basically stood there and I was thinking aloud. My producer was sitting next to me, and I was standing there recording my vocals. I know, after the first verse and the chorus, I thought, no, I don't feel comfortable doing this. And then I sat down and I thought, can we change the key of the song? I think it should be a little bit lower. And he's like, yeah, let's try. And he was trying to change, because, you know, the whole track was recorded already. We had the piano, everything. And but he said, yeah, it can be done. It would sound slightly different, but it will work. So I sat there for a good 10 minutes thinking about it. I'm like considering pros and cons of it. You know, should I change it? Should I not change it? Should we waste time doing this, or should I record it but not feel comfortable? And then maybe in a week's time I will change my mind, and actually I will go for the lower version anyway. So I thought, no, I'm going to change the key and we're going to go lower. And we did. So but you know, the time is ticking. The thing is, you don't want to waste time and money. So now I'm very, very conscious of the key, and I check lots of different keys before I actually record a song at home. Loads of keys. So yeah, as I said, so I take the backing track home and I try singing to it and practice a lot before I record it. A couple of months ago, actually, I bought myself a very good mic, and now I'm able to record my vocals at home. I feel more comfortable basically trying different approaches to the song. Even if it sounds horrible, you know, no one's gonna hear it apart from me and maybe my flatmates when they are in, which is terrible. I hate singing when the people are around. I just hate it and I cannot focus. Sometimes I do have to do that, but it's tough. I wish I had a soundproof room. That would be great. Yeah, if you can invest in a good mic, and it's really good for you because you can do it at home and do it yourself. Do it as many takes as you want. No one is sitting next to you, no one's judging you, no one is thinking, oh my days, this sounds terrible, you know? Where you can come back to it maybe the next day if you wanted to. So it's really good, I really like it. You can record your own backing vocals, your own harmonies, and it really is cost effective, because, you know, I used to go to a studio to record everything, or apart from the basic track that I record at home. But now that I'm recording vocals at home, I feel more in control of that, because I can warm up before, so I can just stop and basically do some vocalizing exercises in the middle of the recording session. And you know, when you are in a studio, I don't know about you, but I feel a bit like self-conscious about doing my vocalizing when the person is there waiting for me to sing, and I'm like, you know, and all sorts of stuff, you know. And or if you can have a mic at home and do your vocals at home, I really highly recommend it. So you can also pick your own takes, so that is quite beneficial. Although, having said that, for a person like me, who is a perfectionist and I want everything to be perfect, I can spend hours and hours choosing the best takes, going word by word. It's a little bit annoying because, you know, the producers, they can do it pretty quickly. Yeah, they can do it quite efficiently. But at home, you can do it all by yourself, although it does take time. Sometimes I'm like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. But then you save a lot of money, you know, by doing so. So it's your own boss when it comes to the vocals. So when you, for example, you've got a track, you've got your vocals recorded, you've got your backing vocals, again, you can put it all together if you're doing it by yourself and send it off to your producer to mix it, unless you can do it yourself again. That's what I'm working on, but I don't really have time to get into it really. I wish I could. With mixing also, you need to know what you want from the recording, how you want to sound, how you want your vocals to sound, how you want your instruments to sound, and all sorts of stuff. Sometimes it's very hard to describe what you want, so you kind of have, it's good to have examples of different songs that you've heard and you like, and you want to recreate the same feeling. What I usually say to a producer when it comes to the mixing is, number one, I want my vocals up front. That's the most important thing. The vocals have to be clear. If they're not clear, I will never be happy with the mix, okay? I'm quite picky when it comes to mix. I will really check every single word that I'm singing and whether I can hear my vocals above all the instruments and everything that's going on. Sometimes the song is full of different instruments. You know, there are drums, there are rock guitars and some acoustic guitar and then piano and then other effects, you know, so your voice can get lost in the middle. It's, you know, important that it has to be, that it comes out, you know, that it's clear, it's vibrant, but you know, it depends what you want. And when I hear the first mix, I usually have a lot of corrections to be made, because the vocals are usually not as upfront as I would like them to be, and the instruments, sometimes they are kind of hidden behind other instruments. It's all like all mushy, and it's very hard to hear those lovely instruments that I've heard the producer record. For example, if I heard great guitars and then when I hear the mix, I cannot really hear those guitars. So I always tell him to, you know, to bring it up a little bit so I can hear all those beautiful instruments, you know, all those effects and everything. But everything obviously has to be balanced, right? So that's that. So let's recap. The most important thing to remember before you hit the studio is to prepare. Prepare yourself. Prepare. If you don't want to waste your money, if you don't want to waste your time, do that. You prepare your lyrics, prepare your chords, prepare your water bottle, prepare your vocal cords if you're going to record your vocals. Have all the examples of the tracks, of the songs you like as a guide. Have your backing tracks, your backing vocals ready, your vox ready. Everything has to be ready. So you go to the studio and you're only there for recording, not for thinking of, oh, how do I want that? Or how do I want that? And then you're wasting time. Because many times, actually it happens to me quite a lot, when I go to a studio and I actually don't know what style I want the song to be. Sometimes I kind of rely on the producer to help me out with it. And then with time, the song kind of creates itself. I think that's it. I think that's the most important things to remember before you go to a studio. Hey, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope it's been useful. Please subscribe to my channel. There will be more videos coming up. If you'd like to hear my music, it's available on all major music platforms as well as my website, anetavolcano.com, and I'll put the links below in the description. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Bye!